Well, look, first of all, I don't know how they're thinking about providing relief. So a lot will depend on what leads to that relief, right? So, for example, we know, particularly in the Asian markets, that the price per barrel of oil has continued to climb. So how do you reduce the price of a commodity whose international price is rising in dollar terms internationally is a question I have, because there is no harm when, let's say, the price of oil were to go from whatever 90 something it is right now to 65, and then the government uses that to give relief. I kind of get it. It makes sense because it's become cheaper in international markets. But if the price is high, then the only way to provide relief is by cutting the taxes you're collecting on petroleum products, or you sort of look at the exchange rate dynamics where the rupee has been strengthening, and that's a separate debate we can get into about what the drivers for that are, but give exchange rate gains. But even the exchange rate gains are not significant enough to offer what I would call quote unquote relief, or what people would call quote unquote relief. So if the goal then is, assuming that they actually have decided that they will provide relief by cutting taxes, then that's a really terrible choice. Why is that a terrible choice? It's a terrible choice on two fronts. First of all, Pakistan has very high levels of fiscal deficit that need to be curtailed by widening the tax base and changing the way in which taxes are collected in the country. Now, that takes a while, and the caretaker government does not have a mandate to fundamentally alter tax policy. So in the event you can't do that, if you reduce taxes on regressive taxes on things like petroleum products to give relief, you open up a bigger fiscal hole, which then has all sorts of repercussions in terms of economic stability, your negotiations with the IMF, etc., which will only reinforce the crisis in the medium to long term in Pakistan. That's the first dimension of this. The second dimension of this is that energy in Pakistan is imported, particularly petroleum. We all know Pakistan does not produce much of its own oil, so it's always imported. Now, if the international price of the commodity has not declined, and you're giving a price relief to consumers in the form of cutting taxes, you will inadvertently boost demand of an imported commodity into the economy. As you do that, you will see the import bill rise, especially so because of the fact that the price of the commodity in international markets is high and or rising at this point in time. So you will open up a bigger fiscal external sector crisis on your hands, especially in a situation where you already have external financing gaps that you need to fill with the IMF, with the Saudis, the Chinese, etc. We all know about that. So I think if the decision to provide relief is based on the fact that the ex-refinery price has come down because of dynamics in the international market, even then there are conversations that can be had about what to do with petroleum prices, but let's park that. But largely speaking, that's okay. But in this environment, if they are trying to provide relief in terms of petroleum prices, when the international price is high and you're assuming you're going to cut taxes, I think that would be folly. And it would really, really create a bigger economic charge after elections are held in Pakistan.